All right, today we are breaking down a truly modern survival story. Imagine this. A group of friends, they get stranded on a deserted island with just one single goal: build a boat from scratch and sail it across the open ocean. I mean, it's an incredible story of ambition, crazy resourcefulness, and the absolutely brutal reality they end up facing. So yeah, let's dive right in.
I mean, right from the very beginning, you can just feel the stakes. They couldn't be any higher. This wasn't some kind of game for them. It was a straight-up life or death mission. And as they pushed their handmade raft into the ocean, this one quote, it just captures that absolute do-or-die mentality that drove the whole thing.
And really, this is the big question at the heart of their entire challenge. You know, it's a classic thought experiment, but this team, they decided to put it to the ultimate test. Could a group of YouTubers with basically zero survival or sailing skills actually build their way to freedom? That's what we're here to find out.
Okay, so first things first, let's really break down just how massive this challenge was. I mean, the premise itself, it almost seems like it was designed for failure. You've got this insane ambition on one side and a complete lack of experience on the other. And here you can just see the core conflict laid out perfectly. On one hand, you have this monumental engineering task, and on the other, a team who openly admits they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. It's this huge gap between the goal and their actual ability that makes this whole story so fascinating. And yeah, their inexperience, it showed up immediately. I mean, before they could even think about building a boat, they were struggling with the absolute basics. They were having trouble just setting up a camp, their water was already running low, and the island's wildlife was a constant threat. We're talking venomous snakes, spiders literally in their beds. Not a great start. Now, the team did have one ace up their sleeve, a guy named Haas. He was the only one with any kind of boat building knowledge. But here's the thing, even he knew their success wasn't just gonna come down to hard work. And this quote from him is so crucial because it totally foreshadows what's to come, that the ultimate decider of their fate wasn't gonna be their skill, but the completely uncontrollable power of nature. But, you know, despite all these massive obstacles, they started to turn things around through just sheer grit and creativity. They literally started to build hope out of what was, well, essentially just garbage. And here's the thing, they didn't just start building blindly. They actually took a surprisingly methodical approach to the whole thing. First, they made a little miniature prototype just to prove the concept could even work. Then, they scoured the island for materials, built the full-scale frame, and finally, put it all to the test. And this is what it's all about. This shows their greatest strength, pure resourcefulness. The whole island was just littered with ocean trash, and they managed to turn it into a lifeline. Think about it. Washed up barrels became the floats for their boat. Bamboo they hacked down from a dangerous jungle became the frame. And they even tried to melt down plastic scraps to make their own paddles. Incredible. And this was the moment everything changed. I mean, after days of just backbreaking labor and constant doubt, they finally pushed the frame into the water, and it actually floated. You can just feel the massive wave of relief and genuine belief in this quote. It's like, for the very first time, the impossible started to feel, well, possible. But that amazing breakthrough moment, man, it came at a huge physical cost. The heat was just unbearable. One of the guys, Darius, he nearly passed out just from searching for a barrel. Another one, Nolan, was covered in over 60 painful bug bites. They were all completely exhausted, dehydrated, just running on empty. So yeah, victory was in sight, but their bodies were seriously starting to fail. So with the boat finally finished, they faced their biggest challenge yet. It wasn't about building anymore. Now it was all about surviving the unforgiving open ocean that stood between them and their goal. And their journey out on the water was, wow, just a grueling marathon. 45 minutes in, they'd only gone about 20% of the way. By the 2-hour mark, terrible seasickness was kicking in. 6 hours in, the whole team was just physically and mentally wiped out. But then, just as they were about to give up hope, after 8 hours, a sudden tide shift gave them one last miraculous push. And the entire time, they were just battling this constant chain of disasters. A paddle just snaps in half. A piece of the boat literally falls off into the ocean. The current kept relentlessly spinning them in circles. And pretty soon, multiple team members were just too seasick and exhausted to even lift a paddle anymore. So after more than 11 hours of relentless paddling, of fighting, of just pure suffering, what did all that effort come down to? This: half a mile. They were just half a mile from the shore of the target island.
I mean, they could practically swim it from there.
And this, right here, is where the story takes its final, unbelievably cruel twist. Victory was right there, it was in sight, but it felt like the closer they got, the farther away success was drifting.
This was the exact moment it all fell apart. Just as they were on the final leg of the journey, the one thing their expert had warned them about came true. The tide, which had been their friend for a little while, turned against them with this just ferocious power. And that, right there, is the real tragedy of their story. They had already proven their will was unbreakable. I mean, come on, they paddled for nearly 12 hours. But this final challenge, it wasn't a test of willpower anymore. It was about timing. It was about the clock. And they missed their window by just minutes. Those final moments, they were just agonizing. At 11 and a half hours in, they hit a complete wall, still just half a mile out. 15 minutes go by, they haven't moved an inch. And then, by the 12-hour mark, the current was so strong it was actually pushing them backwards, away from the island. And this quote, it just perfectly captures the absolute devastation of that moment. To endure so much, to get so incredibly close, only to have victory snatched away at the very last second by a force you just can't fight. I mean, that is a truly crushing feeling of defeat.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Look, they didn't reach the island, so technically, you could say the challenge was a failure. But they never stopped paddling. They never once gave up, even when their bodies were broken and the ocean itself turned against them. So it really makes you ask the question, when you give absolutely everything you have, is it still a failure if you never, ever quit?